Mugla Province, located in southwestern Turkey, is famous for its stunning beaches and wild mountainous landscapes. But beneath this beauty lies a growing and hard-to-control threat: the explosion of the wild boar population. According to local authorities, more than 300 hectares of crops were destroyed just last year, leaving hundreds of farmers in serious distress. What makes things even worse is that pork isn't commonly consumed in Turkey, so their population has been skyrocketing unchecked. This situation has pushed many hunting groups into action, including us, with the hope of curbing this escalating threat. So let's not waste any time. Let's dive right in. As soon as we arrived in the western mountains of Dakka, one of the region's wild boar hotspots, we took up our positions. We didn't have to wait long. Within minutes, we spotted a boar sprinting at high speed. Without hesitation, we gave chase and opened fire, bringing home our first trophy of the day. To our surprise, there wasn't just one, there were many more nearby. The air was suddenly filled with the sound of barking dogs and shrill squeals from the boars, turning the atmosphere tense and electric. We pressed on with wave after wave of attacks, managing to take down several right on the spot. What shocked me the most was their size: massive, muscular, and thick-bodied like monsters lurking in the forest. After leaving the forest, we moved to a lower hill with a clearer view, perfect for spotting targets. From there, I locked eyes on a big, strong alpha boar making a run for it. I held my breath, lined up the perfect shot, and dropped it with a single bullet. The entire team then shifted focus toward the remaining boars nearby, hoping to bring down a few more. Following a trail through the underbrush, I quietly set up an ambush. Then, out of nowhere, a wild boar burst out from the forest. Without thinking, I raised my rifle and fired a clean, experienced shot that ended it in an instant. While scanning the area for more targets, an entire herd suddenly appeared, standing on end as if sensing danger. They scattered chaotically through the brush. After tracking them for a while, I finally spotted one dashing across my field of view. I seized the moment, pulled the trigger, and landed a critical hit. We kept up the pursuit and took down a few more. What really caught us off guard was just how many of them were still out there. And then, out of nowhere, a lone boar tried to escape by dashing along the mountain slope. But I spotted it just in time and dropped it with a flawless shot. The further we went, the more tracks and signs we uncovered. Following the trail, We arrived at a dense thicket. I finally located the target. Weapon ready. I aimed straight for a vital spot. The shot rang out, and the boar collapsed instantly. On our way back, we unexpectedly ran into a few more stragglers, quick and on high alert. I didn't waste the chance. I stalked them quietly, waiting for an opening. A few well-placed shots later, another one went down, wrapping up a day full of surprises. You see, wild boars can reproduce all year round, with each litter producing 6 to 12 piglets. Without proper control, they'll keep tearing through crops and threatening people's livelihoods. We might have taken down quite a few today, but in the grand scheme of things, this is just a tiny chapter in a long battle against these smart, dangerous animals. It all started the morning before when my friend Enzo called me and said that he had discovered an area where hundreds of wild boars lived, and I agreed to join this exciting hunt. Because of the vast terrain, we spent most of our time following the tracks of wild pigs. Thanks to the tracking of the hunting dogs, we quickly found the area where wild pigs were active. About 150 meters away, there was a small valley, dense with tall grass and bushes. That was the wild pig's lair. Among many dramatic wild boar hunting trips, perhaps this hunt will be a special one for us when we broke into the wild boar's lair and ambushed them. We were accompanied by our great friends, the strong and brave hunting dogs. They played the leading role in chasing the wild boars to exhaust them. When the prey was tired, we started. The gun was loaded, the wild boar was exhausted, and I fired decisively. A large wild boar was killed. It didn't take long for a wild boar to appear before us, and it was also taken down immediately. Wild boars are extremely dangerous, especially when they break into the lair of male boars. And every time we face these aggressive boars, we are very nervous and excited. At this time, I also understand why people call them monsters. Because one of its attacks can seriously injure an adult. Therefore, if you're also a hunter, you should also be careful when hunting these wild boars. Wow, let's see if this wild boar's speed is faster than my shooting speed. After one shot, this wild boar fell. The skill of searching for wild boars is also important. Not only observing, we need to listen for the movement of wild boars. Suddenly, a grunting sound came from the bushes. We started to take a fighting stance. Sure enough, a large wild boar with thick, dark fur rushed out from the bushes. I quickly raised my gun and fired. The bullet made the wild boar more aggressive, and it intended to attack me. I fired a few more shots to complete the kill. After hunting a few wild boars, we were not in a hurry to end the hunting trip, but wanted to take down more wild boars. The dogs sensed something. They suddenly became restless and started sniffing around. Well, it seemed like there were some wild boars in the area. We let the dogs loose, and, as expected, they started running in one direction. We determined the direction of the dogs and sped up to chase them, and soon, we heard the dogs barking. Wow, it was amazing how quickly they could find and chase a wild boar. A wild boar cannot fight back against the dog's attack, and it cannot escape either. We quickly captured the prey and rewarded our dog with a delicious piece of sausage. You can use hunting dogs in all your hunting trips. Especially, they not only operate in mountainous areas, but also in rivers, streams, or swamps. They can still catch large prey. Of course, hunting cannot lack some necessary tools, such as guns and knives, to take them down. Be careful because your dogs are also very vulnerable. If confronted with a large and aggressive wild boar, if there is not a large number, the dog can be seriously injured. In general, if you take good care of them, you will certainly never have to worry about safety after each hunting trip. They are invaders, spreading disease and wreaking havoc wherever they go. Wild boars. Not only do they cause devastating damage to crops and the environment, but they're also carriers of dozens of dangerous diseases. If left unchecked, their numbers will multiply uncontrollably, leading to catastrophic consequences. Today, we set out with one goal in mind: to hunt down and eliminate these destructive pests. Watch every thrilling moment, every intense confrontation, and see how we take them down. With their sharp noses and extraordinary hunting instincts, our dogs quickly track down a wild boar. A dark figure bolted across the endless white landscape, charging forward like a storm. But before it could disappear into the dense undergrowth, I pulled the trigger. A single shot rang out. We climbed higher, deploying our drone to gain a better vantage point over the boar's movement. And it was a perfect decision. Our hunting dogs had locked onto a target, chasing it with breathtaking speed. The pursuit led straight to the open field where we had set up an ambush. A gunshot echoed through the valley, but the boar kept running. It was persistent but so elusive. We fired again. A second shot. The beast staggered and collapsed. Instinctively, they sought refuge, and the only safe place left was the desert. If we didn't act now, they would return in just a few days, causing even more destruction. Our experienced hunting team quickly devised a plan. We split into smaller groups, securing every possible escape route. The highest peak was chosen as the lookout. The barren branches and rugged terrain made our approach difficult. But then a silhouette emerged ahead, our target. It tried to escape, but our skilled hunting dog intercepted its path. Cornered, the beast made a desperate move, charging forward in a final attempt to fight back. I steadied my aim, unshaken. As it lunged, I pulled the trigger. The gunshot shattered the silence, halting its charge instantly. The hunt was over, sealed in gun smoke and victory. Dusk was approaching, but we pressed on, making every second count. From our vantage point on the high ridge, I spotted a herd of wild boars gathered below, oblivious to the looming danger. Years of hunting experience guided our next move. We held our breath, steadied our rifles, and took the shot. The first bullet cracked through the air, shattering the stillness. The herd scattered in panic, but we didn't let them escape. A relentless barrage of gunfire followed, cutting off their retreat. Nearly a dozen boars. Only 2 managed to flee. Like warriors charging in a battle, our hunting dogs sprinted across the battlefield, their eyes scanning every tree, every bush. Their growls were sharp, aggressive. A panicked wild boar dashed across our path. This was the moment. I stepped forward, aimed, and fired. The bullet tore through its thick hide. The beast let out a feral roar before collapsing, lifeless. It had barely hit the ground before our dogs swarmed in to claim their victory. Just as we thought the hunt was over, our dogs erupted into a frenzy, barking wildly at a dense bush. Something was hiding inside. A strange sense of urgency filled the air. This wasn't an ordinary hunt. We tightened our grip on our weapons, ready for anything. Everything happened in an instant. Instinct took over. I pulled the trigger. The bullet flew, striking the beast dead center. This invasive species often arrives in herds, as if Tucson were their own territory. And with their aggressive nature, they brazenly cause destruction, devouring entire vegetable gardens, leaving residents in the area sleepless night after night. But today is the day we've decided not to stand by any longer. We set out on a hunt to protect our peaceful way of life. After nearly an hour of moving, our group, accompanied by a pack of hunting dogs, entered the dense forest. It didn't take long for the dogs to pick up on something unusual. A series of urgent barks pierced the silence, signaling that the battle was about to begin. At the source of the barking, a lone wild boar was trying to hide. I raised my rifle and pulled the trigger by instinct, but unfortunately, the low, dense branches obstructed my view, causing the bullet to miss its mark and giving the boar a chance to escape. Determined not to let it get away, the hunting dogs immediately gave chase, driving the boar into an open area. This time, at close range, I was able to take it down with a single precise shot. The boar collapsed on spot. Not a bad start, but I knew I still needed sharper focus and better judgment to make it through the rest of this journey. Lone wild boars were not the main targets of our hunt. After the brief encounter in the woods, we continued toward the next hill, an area with rugged terrain, tangled underbrush, and steep cliffs, an ideal hiding place for wild boars. From up high, scanning the surroundings, I quickly spotted a herd of nearly 10 wild boars charging downhill like living arrows. My rifle locked onto a target immediately. One boar was hit and dropped onto the rocky, dry, grass-covered ground. Amid the chaos, I managed to aim at the lead boar. The rest scattered in confusion, frantically trying to flee into the dense bushes. A critical shot pierced its belly. By midday, we changed our ambush position. This time, it was 2 wild boars silently weaving through the bushes. The sharp crack of the rifle startled them, causing them to split and dash off in opposite directions. I had to choose just one to lock onto. Hunting in such rugged terrain under the harsh, scorching sun is proving to be no easy task. Still gripping our rifles, the whole group lifted our spirits and pressed on in search of the next target. As we made our way downhill, a wild boar entered our line of sight. Not willing to give a chance to escape like before, I raised my gun and took careful aim. This time, the boar didn't escape my sights. Another trophy marked for today's hunt. By this point, there wasn't much daylight left, and the constant movement across varied terrain had begun to wear us down. So, we decided to continue the hunt by car. Along the way, one of our friends spotted another herd of wild boars, larger than the one we'd seen on the hill, creeping toward the road leading into the residential area. We stopped the car, and a volley of gunshots rang out, stopping them before they could set foot on the main road. The shots worked. The startled boars turned around and bolted in the opposite direction, trying to escape the hunting party. But we weren't about to let up. Two of my friends, without hesitation, grabbed their rifles and chased the herd into an open field. Before long, one of them had closed the distance with a wild boar, only about 3 meters away. A sharp, powerful shot rang out, and he brought down the next boar of the day.
I've taken part in more than a few intense hunts, but the wild boar hunt in the coniferous forests of Siberia stands as one of the most unforgettable. The boars here weren't just numerous, they were massive and ferocious. Facing such formidable opponents, we made thorough preparations before stepping into this wild showdown. Leaving the farm behind, the team made their way into the forest. The dogs were released right away, quickly fanning out to track the prey. Hearing the urge of barking echo through the trees, my heart raced as I dashed forward. The moment I spotted the boar, I fired without hesitation, giving it no chance to escape. Not far away, another boar went down under the fierce assault of the hounds and a well-placed bullet from one of our rifles. Several more boars were taken down shortly afterward. Some were at considerable distances and sprinted at staggering speeds, making them difficult to aim at. Still, we held firm, staying locked onto our targets. Within half an hour, we had eliminated a significant number of these dangerous intruders. most unexpected moment came when a massive boar, easily over 90 kilograms, burst out of the underbrush and charged across a grassy field like a black tornado. Its speed caught me off guard, but I managed to fire just in time. The bullet hit its mark, and the beast collapsed after only a few staggering steps. We hunted relentlessly into the afternoon. No one even considered stopping. Gunshots echoed steadily through the quiet forest, each shot cleanly dropping a target. The atmosphere was electric, team morale at an all-time high. It was a golden opportunity, the perfect time to strike. In just a few quick moments, sharp, decisive shots brought them down one after another. The hunt continued without pause. Even when the boars panicked and scattered, few managed to escape our icy aim. Over the next hour, we silently observed the surroundings and soon spotted a stream of wild boars. They sprinted headlong, oblivious to the trap ahead. We held our positions, waiting breathlessly until the prey stepped fully into view. Then, all at once, the team opened fire, a hail of bullets rained down. Those once familiar silhouettes quickly became nothing more than motionless black shadows. We arrived at Singyali on an early winter day, when the mountains and forests were covered in thick snow. The locals had warned of an outbreak of wild boars. They reproduced rapidly and caused endless destruction. The local Hunters Association organized a hunt to control the number of wild boars and protect the people. We joined the group, equipped with hunting guns, along with experienced hunting dogs, ready for the journey. Following the snow-covered trail, we were quite surprised to find our target so quickly. The gunshot rang out. The leader of the herd collapsed immediately. The pigs panicked and ran away, but we did not allow that to happen. Aiming the scope at the target, without hesitation, we pulled the trigger. After a crisp gunshot, 3 more wild boars were taken down. The remaining ones fled towards the slope. We split into groups to pursue, crossing the slippery snowy hills. The thick snow significantly reduced our speed. At this time, the herd of boars had run to the other side of the hill. With no other choice, we decided to attack from a distance. At a distance of 400 m, the whole group focused, held their guns firmly, and opened fire. The rain of bullets poured down, taking down a few targets. However, most of them were lucky to escape. We continued our pursuit, leading to another hill, where there were signs of a large herd of pigs hiding. This time, we applied an ambush tactic. When the first pigs came into sight, the order to fire was given. Close in on each target. Here it is. Did it think it could escape? That was a mistake. Changing tactics, we focused on single targets. Because, when a wild boar is shot down immediately, the others may not have time to realize the danger and not run away immediately. This allows us to approach and take down more targets. For pigs fell immediately, the rest scrambled to run away in panic. After the intense battle, the whole group was exhausted. However, before we could rest, we encountered another herd of pigs. Look! It's a large herd of pigs. We couldn't miss such a good opportunity, so from our hiding position, we continuously fired. Time was running out. As we followed the mountainside back to the rest stop, a few giant black figures appeared in our sights. And we certainly wouldn't let go of such a good opportunity. The gunshots rang out once again. One shot, one kill. As if re-energized, we successfully annihilated the herd of pigs. We quickly deployed our squad, opened fire, and finished off the last targets of the trip. We had missed a few targets. They were still trying to hide. As dusk fell, we returned with our spoils. As if re-energized, we successfully annihilated the herd of pigs. The locals breathed a sigh of relief knowing that the number of wild boars had significantly decreased.
Recently, a vicious herd of wild hogs showed up right in a residential area, causing chaos and threatening public safety. Unable to let the situation continue, a professional hunting team quickly stepped in, determined to eliminate these destructive invaders. Our entire hunting team arrived early at the mountaintop, with every member quickly moving into position to deploy our formation. While we were fully focused on observing the surroundings, we suddenly spotted a herd of wild hogs on the move. They were clever, constantly changing directions to shake off their pursuit. I quickly gave chase, and the moment I had a clear shot, I decisively retreated. A precise shot struck a vital spot, instantly dropping one wild hog. Not long after, I spotted another large hog. Before it could veer off to escape, I opened fire, taking down the dark figure in an instant. For the next half hour, we continued tracking, and the strong, hefty hogs running downhill came into the team's sights. Without hesitation, I closed in and fired. What a fantastic moment. A split-second shot landed me another confirmed target. With my trusted hunting rifle in hand, I expanded my search area. This time, I spotted a hog from quite a distance. Still, I decided to take a chance and lock in. My heart was pounding with excitement. Finally, I landed a precise shot. The hog lost its balance and collapsed shortly after. The hunt wasn't over yet. We had just noticed another hog. Amid the rustling of fallen leaves, I kept a close eye and fired several consecutive shots. The resounding gunfire made sure that the hog had no chance to escape. There were so many hogs here that we barely had a search. Every so often, a few would appear as if challenging us hunters. Even if it was just a lone target, we stayed true to the pursuit. This time I took careful aim. The moment the target was dead center in my sights, I pulled the trigger without hesitation. As the afternoon arrived, the whole team mobilized again for another ambush. Our first target appeared, being chased by a pack of hounds. We tried to close in and fired consecutive shots. After that, the team moved to the left side of the mountain. There we suddenly encountered two dark figures charging downhill. My teammate and I quickly opened fire, constantly adjusting our aim to match the hog's path. One of them veered off and got away, but the other couldn't escape the devastating force of it. Before we could even celebrate the previous success, another hog suddenly burst out from the dense canopy. I couldn't afford to miss this opportunity. I raised my rifle, locked in the target, and pulled the trigger. Perfect shot. On the way back, we unexpectedly came across a pair of wild hogs. They tried to flee quickly, but didn't realize that John and I were already blocking their escape. With his rich experience, John fired two clean, decisive shots, taking down one of the hogs within seconds.